6 o'clock. Ready? Good evening and welcome everyone. I'm Jane Shapiro, Chair of the Steering Committee of 100+ Women Who Care Cheshire County, and welcome to the 21st meeting of our 100+ chapter. This is a time for celebration like no other in our chapter's history. I have so looked forward to standing in front of you once again for a long time. Our last in-person meeting was February of 2020, over 2 years ago. This has been and continues to be a challenging and very difficult time for many of our members, yet you remained steadfast in your commitment to this giving circle, which is dedicated to making a difference in our community through the power of collective giving. As of this afternoon, our giving circle is 314 members strong. And we have continued to receive donations from nearly 100% of our membership for each meeting, including all of our Zoom meetings during COVID. Okay, it takes some reminding and prodding and but you willingly and caringly respond. And now, once again, we gather to see one another, partial face to partial face, and feel the incredible energy of women who genuinely care fill this room. It's truly palpable, don't you think? I'd like to welcome by name those who have joined us either at or since our last meeting, and I'm talking about our last Zoom meeting in February. Veronica Ingwertson, Jenna Spear, Cynthia Westover, Brenda Chari, Beth Ann Klaus, Jill Sanders, Andrea Cheney, Kathy Schulemat, Lisa Stedman, and Karen Flavin. And could all members who have joined since our last in-person meeting, so over the last 2 years, please stand so that we can welcome all of you. Additionally, I know that we have a number of guests with us this evening, and I extend them a very special welcome as well. Tonight's meeting is attended not only by those of us in this room, but also by how many, Courtney?
We have 48 online.
48 people on Zoom. So imagine the size of our group when you put those two together. What do we have out here right now? Maybe 50, I'm going to guess. I'm not good at guessing. If somebody has a better guess. But
let's count up.
Courtney wants to count up. I remind you, the folks at home, the webinar platform classifies you as audience, and as such, we do not see or hear you, but you can communicate with us via the chat function, and Courtney is looking at it the whole time. Simply click on the chat icon on the bottom of your screen, type the message, and hit enter or return. If you have any kind of a technical question, you can ask that at any time through the chat, and Courtney will help you. I'm very pleased to report that as a result of our February meeting, we gave $23,093 to MCVP Crisis and Prevention Center. As an additional $350 to Mount Caesar Union Library, $500 to the Monadnock Humane Society, and $50 to the community kitchen. That means that since our inception in November of 2016, we have given a total of $325,403 to 22 chosen organizations and an additional $18,006 to 31 organizations which were nominated but were not the chosen ones to receive the quarter's donations from everyone, for a total of $343,409. That is collective powerful giving. At this point in my comments, I usually thank the steering committee, but a mere sentence this evening is not enough for what they have done to keep us not just afloat, but aflight during COVID time. I'm going to break all the rules about giving equal opportunity to thanks to all steering committee members, and they don't know that this is coming, by saying that we simply could not have done what we have done without Courtney Fougiere's expertise on Zoom, MailChimp, and database management, or Brett Thielen's expertise with Facebook and our website, as well as her assistance on the Zoom meetings. These ladies deserve a huge round. Courtney also gets the prize for the most thankless task. It is she who creates the ballots and stuffs them into the back of each and every name tag before every meeting. And she also takes all those name tags home and alphabetizes them with all the new people. So that is a huge amount of work, and really, we thank you for that as well. Additionally, if you've ever wondered who vets our nominations, making sure they're complete and are legitimate New Hampshire not-for-profits, who welcomes each new member with a warm and informative email, who writes the press releases for the Sentinel and the Shopper News, that credit goes to Bridget Hansel. If you've wondered who in the past oversaw our refreshment volunteers, set up and clean up, and liaised with St. George's Church, and calligraphed our big checks that you see in the newspaper publicity, that credit goes to Lisa Marr, who, by the way, now lives in Warner, but has stayed with our group and is here with us this evening. Oh, Lisa is holding up a clipboard and she puzzled me for a minute, but we are taking volunteers for refreshments because one of these days we're going to have them again, and then Lisa will know who to call, so you can see her. If you've wondered who tracks our petty cash account, writes checks for the venue and miscellaneous expenses, and gives presentations to service clubs and other community groups, credit goes to Judith Putzel. And if you've wondered who, as they say, herds cats to get all the right folks together for those great photos in the paper, as well as tracks our history, clippings and photos, so that future decades of other women will enjoy learning about us, that credit goes to Mary Delisle. And you can credit all of us collectively for making the practical decisions about how this chapter runs, carefully weighing each member's suggestion that we receive, thoughtfully analyzing each bump in the road, and there have been many, carefully listening to all perspectives in our group before reaching consensus on decisions as we try to make 100+ Women Who Care Cheshire County the best it can possibly be. With deepest appreciation, I salute you all. Never have I worked with a more dedicated and talented group of women. Thank you. I appreciate, at this point, I appreciate the patience of those members who attend every meeting. I know this is repetitive, but these issues and questions continue to come up between each and every meeting, often from longtime members. Number one, please use our website as a source of information about donations and how we work. Nearly every question that comes to us, either in person or on an email, is answered on our website. If it's not, we want to know about it because we'll fix it. Brett does a wonderful job of keeping both the website and our Facebook page updated. She will have this meeting's news posted by tomorrow morning. Fun fact, she would have it posted tonight, but Brett is the director of the Salamander Crossing Brigade program, and they're likely to be on the move tonight, so she's going to be doing that. If you are a guest and after this meeting decide you would like to join, you will find commitment forms on the website, or if you're here in person, on the back table. Simply fill it out and send it to us, either email or snail mail to the address on the form, or leave it with one of us this evening. You can put August and November and all the meetings for next year on your calendars right now, because we always meet on the first Monday of February, May, August, and November. Our next meeting is Monday, August 1st. We are part of a network of over 700 100+ Who Care chapters from all over the US and at least 10 other countries. Our chapter's name is 100+ Women Who Care Cheshire County. We have a sister chapter in the Peterborough area whose name is 100+ Women Who Care Monadnock. It's easy to confuse them. Just remember, we are Cheshire County, and some members have gotten confused there. Only members can submit nominations, and only members can present at a meeting. The idea is that we gather and we want to support organizations that come from passionate members, passionate people who are part of our group. Nomination instructions are on the website. Nominators can invite a non-100+ member from their organization to join them to help answer questions during the Q&A portion. And we have a new rule for nominations going into effect this evening. The two organizations which are chosen to present but do not receive the total donations from all the members must skip a meeting before they are nominated again. This will give us the opportunity to hear from more organizations so that one isn't, presenting twice in a row. Making your donations online is an option for members when it's available from the chosen organization. And in February, 112 of our members donated that way. We did run into some difficulties this time because several people, while they wrote that the donation was coming through 100+ Women, which we really appreciate you putting in the little comment line on the online donation form, they didn't give us their name. So we didn't know who to credit in our bookkeeping. So we need to know that. I mean, it was fine for MCVP, for the recipient organization, because they have your credit card number and they get the money. That's not the issue, but we need to be able to track who has donated and who hasn't, so we know who to follow up with. So please make sure you do that. And if you send a check, do not make it out to 100+ Women Who Care. This continues to happen, and I just have to call you up and tear up the check or send it back to you, because we don't have an account where we deposit that money. We have a little petty cash account, but all donations go directly to the organizations, and your checks need to be made out to them. And now we get to the fun part. For this evening's nominations. Each quarter, we receive nominations from wonderful organizations and programs that serve our vulnerable citizens and animal friends, enrich our children and entire community through arts and through connection with the natural world around us, or strengthen our safety nets and resources. I love that we have organizations nominated for the first time each and every meeting. You will note that some have been nominated previously. Our policy is that chosen organizations, that is, if you're the one that's chosen for everybody to write a check to you, you need to wait at least 2 years before you nominate again. One of many things that makes our group shine is that in each and every meeting, all of you arrive with your minds open and your hearts open, anxious to learn which 3 organizations were chosen to present. Listen carefully to the presenters. Ask intelligent and thoughtful questions, make your choice, and then celebrate the organization that is chosen. We received 4 nominations for this evening's consideration, and since we're back in person, we will choose 3 to present right now. The nominations are, I'm gonna have to, I don't have that paper. Oops. Do you want to, hang on just a sec. I'm sorry, I forgot to put that in my pack. Brett's getting this for me. This is a new bloop. This is one I haven't done before, so I guess I can check this one off the list. So while we're waiting, how many do we now have on Zoom?
We have 50.
50 on Zoom, great, and 50 in the room, we're at 100.
And people are asking about closed captioning, and I'm trying to do that as we're speaking.
Now, what do you mean closed
People
captioning?
are, I think, would like to be able to see what people are saying.
Oh, so you mean.
And I've never done that, so I'm working on it.
Oh, Courtney's developing a new skill while we meet up here.
Trying.
So I don't know if you heard her, people in the back, but the folks on Zoom, I guess, are having a hard time understanding me. Is that what's
Well,
going
there's
on?
some people I think just would prefer to be able to read.
And so they're asking if on their at-home computer screen, she can put closed captioning. So we're seeing, and Brett's working her way up here. Brett to the rescue, thank you. So our 4 nominations are 100 Nights, nominated by Sarah Barrett. 100 Nights provides shelter and crisis-related services to those experiencing or at risk for homelessness. They seek funding for the construction of their new emergency shelter and resource center in Keene. Number 2, Keene High School Project Graduation, nominated by Emily Nichols. Keene High School Project Graduation provides safe, drug, and alcohol-free activities on graduation night. They seek funding for the class of 2022's project graduation. Feeding Tiny Tummies, nominated by Kathleen Malloy. Feeding Tiny Tummies provides weekly food packages to children with food insecurities. They seek funding for expansion with a classroom, resource center, library, clothing closet, and additional hours. Monadnock Peer Support, nominated by Mary Ann Whistle. Did I pronounce that correctly, Mary? Yes?
Yes.
Good. Monadnock Peer Support, a community aiding people in their mental health journeys through peer support groups and other alternatives to clinical medical, I'm sorry, let me do that again, and other alternatives to clinical mental health care, seeks funding for improvements to handicapped accessibility at its Keene facility. So do we have a basket with the, okay, so Bridget's going to circulate. And I'm going to circulate.
I forget how it works. Why you mix it up? Okay, number 1 here. Number 2, one more.
We're laughing because Bridget's going around with the basket, and number 1 was picked, number 2 was picked, and Annie Faulkner's over here like a kid in the 2nd grade who knows the answer. So the 3 that are chosen to present this evening: Feeding Tiny Tummies, Monadnock Peer Support, and Keene High School Project Graduation. I remind you that each presentation is 5 minutes. Mary Delisle's right here, and she's got these little paddles. So Kathleen, if you will make your way to the podium so that you can present. And when you reach the podium, you're welcome to take your mask off for the presentation.
Hi, everyone. I am Kathy Malloy. My first in-person meeting, and I've been involved with the organization just since the first of the year. So it's just that when I saw, I think the last advertising, the last donation, it was just blown away with the amount of giving that happens here and how directly it goes right to that needy group that I had to jump on board here. So thanks for having me. I'd like to nominate Feeding Time with Tummies. I've been volunteering with them for about 2 years now. And I've been delivering food a few days a week, once or twice a week, anywhere from Winchester to Ashwilla to Alstead we've got a Newport and Claremont, but mostly everything's been Cheshire County, and we deliver food packages to the Head Start programs there. That's specifically the ones I do. I was completely blown away with the need that was that this organization helps with. They just moved to the address, 305 Park Ave. They envisioned growing the space. They made it happen. So at 305 Park Ave, that's the old running place, the exercise place, the Swamp Bats building. It was that Swamp Bats building. They are currently serving 350 to 500 children weekly with food packages that go. They are delivered either through the school system, through the Head Starts, or they're personally delivered to people's homes. But 350 to 500 families, children, are getting this. They also offer programs of the back to school with backpacks and snacks and supplies. They also do a Thanksgiving program with the Thanksgiving meals, Christmas program with tinsel for tummies, and an Easter basket program. The summer program is set up through Keene Housing, and they go there. It's like it's set up like a farmer's market where the families can just go there and choose what they want for that week, and it's like a free shopping for those families. There's also a reading program there and activities for the children. They are right now reaching out to the elderly, so there will be some elderly that'll be phasing into that program too. The money will directly be used for the a new refrigerator or a walk-in cooler and freezer system at the new location. It's probably going to cost about $25,000 to make that happen. Right now, when giving, they have they are delivered cases of yogurt or cases of milk. And if they were able to keep it longer instead of having to get it out because they don't have the refrigerator space, they could help the families. Is what it comes down to. With the new space, there's now a resource center. So there'll be a resource center which will have access to computers and copiers and scanners. They'll be helping with resume writing. There'll be classes for how to apply for a job, how to help with Medicaid, how to apply for SNAP, any kind of child care assistance, anything like that. And all those classes are updated on their website and on their Facebook pages weekly. Getting nervous about my little paddle over here. Oh my God, it's not coming here, right? And okay, two, there you go. With the struggle with gas prices, we're all feeling that right now. The Tiny Tummies, if there's a family that needs to come in to the resource center to either pick up food or with anybody in the resource center, they are, if they can get a driver to bring them in, the driver is reimbursed a $10 gas card, just so that it's getting more people to come into the center to get help if needed. I think I've touched the base on everything, guys. Any questions? Oh, Jen, you want to come up? This is Jen Nassau, and she is the director. So fire questions away.
And would you please repeat the question?
Okay.
We do have a mic, but we may not need it if people just raise their hand.
You need it for Zoom, that actually would be good.
Yeah. So we will need it.
Oh.
Any questions? Very shy group. Over here.
So my question is how your wonderful services integrate with other similar programs in Keene. I was thinking about the job stuff, computers, like I feel like that happens elsewhere too, which is great. And I was wondering how you integrate with other programs, similar programs.
So you will need to repeat the question.
Yeah. So she was asking how this particular resource program is going to integrate with other area, similar programs in the area, like resume writing, that kind of stuff. You want to take it?
So we work pretty,
Yeah, sorry.
so we work pretty closely with a lot of the area agencies, but the difference is when a family can get to us, we offer so much under one roof that they can leave feeling really accomplished. They might have their resume in, a job interview secured, they can get a new outfit, take books home for their children, get food for the week, fresh fruits and vegetables. When they're leaving, they have accomplished so much in one stop rather than running to, several different places. But we do work with, Southwestern and the Pregnancy Resource Center. We're all out to do the same thing and make a difference in our community. And these children are our next generation, so we have to take care of them as a group.
There's a question online similar to what you were just discussing, but do you have a relationship between Community Kitchen and Much?
Yes,
Okay, sorry, you can repeat it.
the question was how we work with Much in the Community Kitchen. So when the pandemic began, and everything was kind of shut down, the Much program came to us and asked if we would help fill the Much bags. So we have been working with them for over 2 years, reaching as many families between Tiny Tummies and Much. I kind of say that we're like sisters or siblings because we do so much together for our community. This last April vacation between Tiny Tummies and the Much program, we put out over 600 packages of food for children within our community. And in addition to that, we were able to hit 2 elderly housing complexes of low income and get them some fresh fruits and vegetables as well.
What is your budget and where does the money come from? Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
When I see Tiny Tummies, I have the impression that you're serving children, very young children. Is that true? How old are the oldest of the children?
So I guess we're all children at one point, but the way that this Tiny Tummies came about is I was working for Southwestern as a family advocate for Head Start, and I was working with the New Hampshire Food Bank because the children kept coming to me at the end of the day asking me for a snack to take home. So when I was working with the food bank, she said, Jen, you can do this on your own. You don't need to, bounce off any other organization or anything. So I said, okay. And she said, well, I need a name. I'm like, okay. She goes, right now. So I went, feeding Tiny Tummies, because at that time I was working with 3 to 5-year-olds. But, it has grown, especially through the pandemic, people needing diapers and the formula shortages and the elderly not having, the money or gas to get anywhere.
So the question online is, what is your budget and where does the money come from?
So the budget and where our money comes from is donations, lots of fundraising. I do grant writing. I do all the grant writing. I have an assistant now who is learning how to do that. But in community support, the community is amazing. If I put something out that we're short on mac and cheese, people step up and help, and it's so grateful. And our budget is around $12,000 a month, depending on gas prices and if something comes up, but generally it's about $12,000 a month.
I think we have time for one more question. One more online, if no one has one here. Are you part of Monadnock United Way?
Are we part of Monadnock United Way? No, we are not.
That was a good question.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Ann, could you come forward, please?
Oh, it's so nice to see everybody. It's like real people. Thank you for having me. I'm here to represent and nominate the Monadnock Peer Support Group. You may or may not be aware, but May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So the timing of this is just perfect. The mission of Monadnock Peer Support is to promote wellness and recovery as defined by the individual. That's through intentional peer support and providing advocacy, educational, vocational, interpersonal, social, and spiritual opportunities to adults who utilize mental health services. They develop mutually beneficial relationships and support one another in attaining those increased capacities for self-determination and independence. At their location on Washington Street, unfortunately, many people are not able to access their service because of accessibility issues. They recently went through an evaluation through Neighborhood Access, which provided them with not just a report of what they needed to become more accessible, but also prioritized some of those issues, actually prioritized all of the issues in terms of where they should focus to make the most impact for the community. They've started some of the process. Specifically, the money that's being asked for here this evening will be used towards the automatic door openers when somebody's using a wheelchair. And they have some other items that they have in process as well to address the other needs as well. They have 50 groups a week. They have about 400 people that they support. And they estimate that that number would increase by 5 or 6 people a day, times all of the days. Obviously, I didn't do that math, sorry. And to do that, to make the place more accessible, that would allow for people who right now do not have the option of going to Monadnock Peer Support. On a regular basis, they get phone calls and hear of people who aren't able to access their location because of where they are and needing these improvements. They do have 2 respite beds, so if somebody is in need, they're able to go and stay for up to 7 days apiece. And then they have 3, what they refer to as step up, step down beds. And those allow for a person to stay for 90 days. In this time of COVID and the last 2 years, I suspect all of you have probably turned on the TV and heard about the increase in mental health issues and the struggles that so many people are feeling, the need to connect with their community and the others around them. This is a wonderful opportunity for that within their own community. I asked, so what happens when I walk in? I've never been there before. What happens is the people who are there welcome you. They say, hey, what's your name? Come on in, Marianne. How's it going? And immediately there's that connection. You know, there's a sense of belonging. It's not walk into an appointment and wait for your counseling appointment. They do have the groups, so there is that aspect, but there's also this personal meet you where you're at, which is so important. I need to turn my page because I need to find the other information I'm forgetting. About 2/3 of the population actually experience some form of disability. Not all are disabilities that impact the mobility and the entrance. Some are cognitive, some are physical. There's a gentleman that currently accesses MPS, and he uses a cane. But he has to limit his trips outside once he gets there because of the stairs, and the stairs are so challenging for him that he limits when he goes and when he gets there, when he leaves. Like you and I may want to come and go. We may want to run to the store. He's not able to do that. So the goal is to get this facility more accessible so that everybody can benefit. Anyone who wants to participate, will be able to do that. Like I said, they're looking for the push button systems to enter. Currently, to come in, if you're using a wheelchair, you need to have to buzz ahead, and then somebody will come down and help you on their antiquity. kind of an old lift system to get you up. So I'm seeing the 30-second mark. So I know that folks will ask about the funding sources, so I want to throw that out there really quickly. They do have state funding for some of their operational expenses, but they do not have the state funding for these improvements that will need to be made. And as you may know, this, okay, I can finish my sentence, okay. Currently they're not licensed, but they will need to be licensed from the city of Keene in the near future, and they will need to be in compliance with some of this stuff. So. And I do have two representatives with me, so if there's questions, I would probably defer to them. So Christine and Lisa, do you want to come up and join me? And just a little plug, as many of you know, while they're walking up, I work at Monadnock Developmental Services. So the accessibility feature is near and dear to my heart. And yes, we do at Monadnock Developmental Services have folks that access MPS. So thank you. Questions?
I'm just wondering regarding those beds, the respite and step up, step down. Is there a cost associated, or is Medicare?
Excuse me. The question was, is there a cost associated with any of the respite beds that we currently provide? And the answer is no. None of the services that we offer are of a fee at all to anyone who would like to participate. I just want to give a real quick synopsis, if I may. The 2-bed stay for respite is a 0 to 7 night stay. It's for anybody experiencing a crisis, and that's different. A crisis is different for each individual. So the respite is intended for someone to just come in, regroup, re-energize, get the support that they need from a peer, and then they go back home. The Step Up, Step Down program is designed to bookend institutionalization, jail, rehabilitation, so on and so forth. So the Step Up is in an effort to prevent someone from going into an institution, preferably. And then the Step Down is if someone is incarcerated in the hospital in any type of an institution, they can step down into our program and sort of find their new normal before they go back home. And that's a 90-day stay. And we also have a program that we partner with Monadnock Family Services. We have 6 beds, and that's a 1-year residential stay. So we're really looking, we're currently doing that continuum of care for the individual. Any other questions?
There's one online.
Yep.
How does the community learn about your peer services? I think most of the folks who are accessing your services are from Keene. Do you market to surrounding towns?
Yes, we service, excuse me, sorry. How do we market and do we serve the surrounding towns? We serve all of Cheshire County, so 35 cities and towns within the county that we serve. We do have transportation. Our bus leaves at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. We drive through wherever to pick individuals up. And at 7 p.m. when our building closes, we drive individuals home. So we eliminate any difficulty that anyone has to get into our facility. And in terms of our marketing, we have an outstanding marketing individual who we've got a beautiful Facebook page. We're on Facebook, Twitter, our website, LinkedIn, any social media page. What am I missing? Newsletter. We have an outstanding newsletter that we send out each month to individuals and anyone within our community. We offer some really unique programs. No one's asking, so I'm just going to assume somebody's curious. Oh, we have another question.
Could you please explain peer support? And are there counselors who run the support groups?
Sure. So peer support is, Sherry Mead designed this program. It's called Intentional Peer Support. It's really meeting the individual where they're at. It's about creating a connection with an individual. So Jane Doe walks in, how are you? Who are you? Where'd you come from? How'd you hear of us? We're creating a connection. And then we talk about worldview. It's really understanding where an individual is that helps us. It helps us understand where their mental health is at. Are they schizophrenic? Are they bipolar? Why are they homeless? Do they have PTSD? Are they a veteran and lost their home and their family? It could be a variety of issues. So we want to really understand that, and then we share our personal story so that we can really create that mutuality, and that builds trust and that builds a relationship. So we're creating an organic mutually respectful relationship with the individual. A lot of the folks that come to us have some significant trust issues, have unbelievable amounts of trauma, so they're already really shut off from the world. I've got 1 minute. And then once we work through the connection, the worldview, the mutuality, and then we talk about the moving toward piece, which is a very critical piece of our process because of the groups that we offer. We have anything from bipolar depression to the Hearing Voices Network, to survivors of suicide, to survivors of sexual assault. Truly, we have a group for everything and everyone. I'm not kidding about that. Yes.
Where would people go that were experiencing these kind of mental health issues? Where would they go if MPS wasn't available?
Certainly. The streets. Thank you very much. The question was, where would individuals go if we did not exist? Tent City is a big one. 100 Nights, the Serenity Center, anywhere downtown in the Common. What we're doing is we're trying to get individuals off the streets. We're trying to get individuals into a program that can be mutually beneficial for them as well as for the community and eliminate the tax burden on citizens. And I guess that's really time, but you know, I guess my time's up.
Thank you.
And Emily, would you like to come to talk to us about project graduation? Oh.
My name is Emily Nichols, and I joined this group right after the pandemic started. So this is my first in-person meeting. I'm excited to be here. So I have nominated the Keene High Project Graduation. I'm not sure if all of you are familiar with it, but it was started back in Keene in 1986. Statistically, the night of graduation is the most dangerous night for a teenager. And so a group of parents got together and said, how do we keep these kids safe? And so what it is it's an all-night event. It's drug and alcohol free. And we provide entertainment for them, food, safety. Once they come, they stay. They're there till like 4:30 to 6 in the morning. And so over the years, there were lots of small fundraisers that we would do to raise money. And then we partnered with Dancing with the Stars. And so Dancing with the Stars was like our one big fundraiser. And it's about 20 to 25,000 to put on Project Graduation. And so when the pandemic hit, we lost Dancing with the Stars for the last 2 years. And this year, even back in like probably January or February, we were still uncertain whether Project Grad was going to happen. Could it be in person? Would it be outside in just, you know, a couple hours after graduation versus the whole night? And we feel very grateful that we are able to have it and be in person all night long. About 85% of the seniors attend. Once they are there, it's about 200 volunteers in the community that it takes to set up, to run the night, to clean up. We have a police officer at the door who screens everybody when they come in. We have an EMT on site. We get insurance. There's a parent or volunteer at every door at the high school. And it is a lot of fun for the kids. It is a night that they will remember. I graduated Keene High School in 1996, and I still remember Project Grad. So some of the things that we provide for them are inflatables. There is a inflatable bull riding thingamajig that you can get on. I don't dare. There are games. There's dodgeball, there's floor hockey, there's a characterist artist, there's bingo and henna tattoos. And then our big show at the end of the night is they have a hypnotist come in. So the kids are safe, they are there all night. Whether they are 18 or not, they cannot leave. a parent would have to come pick them up. So parents can also rest at ease at home, knowing that if their child is there, their child is there. They're not leaving. There's no excuse such as I'm traveling in the morning, I need to go home. The parent would have to show up to pick them up. And this is something, it's their last hurrah. They get to take this with them, and everybody disperses after this and gets to go in different directions. And I feel like for these kids, the last 2 years of school have been in person, online, partially in person, partially online. And they have really struggled to all be together. And I'm really excited for them to have this opportunity to be together and have one last hurrah. So we also provide, everybody gets a gift. So that there's usually about $15 to $20. There's prizes and there's food. Oh my gosh, do we feed them? Nobody goes hungry. If you want to play floor hockey for 4 hours, we will feed you. And so it's just a really amazing opportunity for them to finish out their year. And so Dancing with the Keen Stars is hopefully going to be able to pick back up next year. But again, they bring in about 20 to 25,000 for us. And that is our big once a year fundraiser that funds it. And not having had that for the last 2 years has really drained our financials. We have done several small fundraisers, and we do have one coming up on May 14th. It's Jail and Bail in front of Greenwald Realty, and local members you can bail them out of jail if you want. So, but anyway, so I'm excited for them, and probably that's my time. So, and we have a website and Facebook page for pictures if you want to see what some of the large inflatables and what a large bingo game looks like. All of that. Questions? Does anyone want to volunteer that night? We're looking for 12 p.m. to 4 a.m. That's our harder time to fill.
I have a question online. How many parents volunteer and how many parents support this financially? How else do you fundraise? So can you repeat the question?
So the question was,
how many parents volunteer?
How many parents volunteer
and support financially?
Well, we're a pretty small committee right now. There's maybe like 8 of us on the Keene High Project Grad Committee, but it is a total of about 200 volunteers. And those are volunteers that come from all over the community. It's parents whose children have graduated, it's teachers, it's police officers, it's anybody that's over the age of 21 usually can volunteer. So if parents want to make a donation, they absolutely can. But I feel like with most places and nonprofits, everybody's feeling a little stretched thin with COVID, and 25,000 is a lot to raise. So.
Does the school give any money? Keene High?
The Keene High does not give any money, but they do provide a place. And so we have it streamlined. The setup is very well planned out. And so every room every year has the same setup. So we have contracted with them to be able to use the high school and have a familiar place for the kids. Historically, it's been at Keene State as well. And but we're pretty grateful to be able to have it at the high school.
What happens if you fall short of the 25,000?
So we're budgeting really carefully this year. And as it's getting down to the wire, there are different areas that we can make cuts. We do have the jail and bail coming up that we are hopeful to raise some money. And we just have areas that we can trim if not. But we'd also like to get back on track for next year as well. So.
How much have you raised so far?
So far, we have probably we've raised, I think about 12,000. The entertainment piece is the most expensive piece. So that would be an area that we would have to cut back on. But yeah.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
If you are on Zoom, a poll will now appear on your screen. You have 3 minutes to submit your choice. And don't forget to hit the submit button. If you're here in person, there's a colored piece of paper that's in your name tag. I ask that any guests that are on Zoom, please do not vote. This voting is just for members. We will collect and tally the votes, and I see Lisa has a basket and Judith has a basket, and they're circulating, so, oh, and Bridget's over there with the basket too. So while we tally the votes, in order to come back and let you know who we have chosen, I'd like to invite Beth Ann Klaus and Peg Monahan, who will tell us how our donations from November have made a difference to their organization and the clients that they serve.
Good evening, amazing 100+ women who care of Cheshire County. What a wonderful group and an opportunity to come back and share a little bit with you. So yes, I'm Beth Ann Klaus. I'm also a new addition to this beautiful giving circle and so delighted to be with you. And we were the selected winners for the November 2021 meeting. So I'm the executive director. Peg Monahan has been the treasurer at MAPS for 6 years, and she finished up her service to us at the end of 2021, but I'm so glad to have her by my side tonight. When we presented to you, we told you that our objective was to increase the access to mental health care for children and low-income individuals through the expansion of our clinical residency program. So at MAPS Counseling Services, we're primarily an outpatient mental health clinic providing direct primarily individual subgroup services to clients. And with the mental health crisis in our community and throughout our nation and the world, we have just seen an ever-growing demand for services that far exceeds our capacity based on our current clinical staff. So the increased demand for service with the pandemic and cultural shifts, insecurities in families and individuals, increases suicidality, anxiety, depression, family conflict. We added on to that workforce shortage with the Great Recession, the Great resignation, clinician burnout, and more clinicians shifting into private practice, which actually decreased the access to care for low-income individuals because clinicians didn't have to take Medicaid clients. There's a really low reimbursement rate. So MAPS and many other mental health clinical centers like MFS were faced with a dilemma of how to continue to increase accessibility to care. So at MAPS, we've had our clinical residency program, and we had just started that the year before at the end of 2020, which allowed us as a independent center, unlike the amazing work that MFS does, we weren't able to hire unlicensed clinicians. And so the residency program has allowed us to do that, but we weren't able to really financially support that program very well. So with the generous giving of your fantastic group in November of over $17,232, we already doubled our clinical residencies. So we had 2 at the time, we're now up to 4 with a 5th one starting with us in a couple months. So you've already helped that to double. Each clinical resident sees somewhere between 10 and 20 individual clinical hours of access to clients each week. So that's over about 75 additional people who are getting a therapy session each week. Our current residents are Jackie Cruz Sanchez. She's a marriage and family therapist, almost licensed, bilingual in our community, which is fabulous. We have Gail Williams, another marriage and family person who's developing a specialty due to some extra training we've been able to give her in young children's therapy. Kale Guilford, who is a registered dance movement therapist. So she's helping people to tune into their bodies and regulate and soothe in ways that they otherwise don't have access to. Danielle Ravenel, who is an amazingly spiritually integrated clinician who helps people to tune in to mindfulness, connection, relationships. And Kate O'Neill is the one who's coming to us in a few months. She was an intern with us last year and a great example of why this program is working. Because with the workforce shortage, we're realizing we have to invest in training and building the next wave of clinicians in our community. So Kate was an intern with us in her doctoral program at Antioch, and she had to leave because we didn't have the program in place. And now she's able to come back to us as she gets her doctorate completed and has one more year of supervision necessary before she can get her license. So she's coming back to us. And we're so excited about the work that she does. She's another infant mental health specialist working with young kiddos. So we're so great for that. So the money that you've given us has helped us to increase capacity of the number of residents. We've also been able to, we're sending 5 of our current licensed clinicians to a special training that's required to certify them to be approved supervisors by the New Hampshire Board of Mental Health so that we can have more residents and more people who can supervise them appropriately. And then we also have been able to recognize where's the missing niches if we don't have somebody who can do this level of care, and we're able to support them in doing extra trainings for them. So we're trying to use your money wisely to build a really strong, invested mental health workforce. And we're doing it in the way that MAPS thinks helps us to do it sustainably. So we care for each other, maintain balance as clinicians, so that hopefully these folks will stay in the field for a long time and continue to support our community. And here at MAPS, we are approaching our 50th anniversary in 2023 that we've been serving the Monadnock region, primarily in Keene, but also in Peterborough. And we will keep working alongside of many of you and all the amazing work that happens in the Monadnock region to serve our community, caring for mind, heart, body, and spirit as we navigate life's challenges. So thank you for your gift. Thank you for working alongside of each other and for the power of community giving.
In a moment, I will announce the organization you have chosen this evening. Depending on which organization you chose, you may have an option of either making an online donation or writing a check. If you make an online donation, please know that most organizations will be charged a service fee, typically 3%. So that means that in a $50 donation, they will actually receive $48.50. And many of our members choose to add a few dollars to cover that fee so that the organization can actually get their full $50. And as I mentioned earlier, if you do an online donation, make sure you put your name on the donation as well as an indication that it's from 100+ Women Who Care. A link to the online donation will appear in an email that you will receive tomorrow, and it will be on our website tomorrow after the salamanders safely cross. If you choose to send a check, please make it out to the selected organization and mail it to me. And my address is on the website, or I don't know if Brett's going to put it up. All nominations, as you know, are registered not-for-profits, so they are tax deductible. Normally, I now remind you that the recipient organization is required not to add you to any mailing lists, but they will have your contact information in order to acknowledge a gift. And if they violate that agreement, they will not be considered for a future gift from us ever. The rule still applies, but if you make an online donation, please know that sometimes the organization may not know you're donating from 100+. If you end up on a mailing list, let us know. We will work that out with them. We have had once or twice, there has been a little bit of confusion, although the organizations tried very, very hard to honor that. And you are most welcome to make a gift for larger than $50. And you are most welcome to make a gift to more than one organization. I think we had 3 marvelous nominations this evening, very different organizations, very different work that's being done by the people who are passionate about them. And I thank them all for their presentations. Thank them all for their nominations, for all of the nominations. So mark your calendars for August 1st, and I'm very pleased to say that the honored organization this evening is Monadnock Peer Support. this wraps up our May meeting. I'm gonna jump in here, Courtney, and ask the online people if you have a comment about how this hybrid worked for you. Would you please put it in the chat, and Courtney can glean that information, because this is the first time we've tried a hybrid. It's the first time we have tried this venue. So we want to hear back from you. And if anybody in the room has feedback for us, we would be interested in hearing that as well. Probably best to jot it down, because there are many of you and we're kind of going in many directions. But have a good evening, and congratulations again to Monadnock Pierce. 7 no's, we did it.
Waiting for it, it's running now. Okay, I'll be in touch for saddle.
Yes.
Yep.